the pain started in my hands. A stiff, deep ache in the mornings that I blamed on homework and bad sleep. By my 17th birthday, it wasn't just my hands. It was my knees, my ankles, my spine. A constant, fiery stiffness was locking my body into a cage. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Ivy. The doctor's words that day changed my life. Juvenile idiopathic arthritis, he said, his face serious. It's aggressive. We need to hit it hard and fast with a specific medication to prevent permanent joint damage. He wrote a prescription for a drug with a long, complicated name. My mother took the paper, her eyes scanning to the bottom. Her face went pale. This cost, is this correct? It's a specialty biologic treatment, the doctor nodded. It's the standard of care for her condition. Without it, we risk irreversible harm. Mobility issues. Chronic pain. A cold fear settled in my stomach. My dream was a dance scholarship. It was all I worked for. My body was my instrument, and now it was betraying me. But there was a safety net. My grandmother, who passed the year before, loved me fiercely. She left me a trust fund. $25,000. The instructions in her will were clear, for Ivy's health and education. My parents were the trustees. They controlled the money until I was 18, but it was legally mine for those two purposes. For a week, there was a tense quiet in our house. I was in too much pain to go to school. I spent my days on the couch, watching my little sister, Lily, live my life. She was 16, full of easy energy, coming and going with her friends. Then, one Saturday, the energy shifted. My parents were dressed up. Lily was buzzing with excitement. "Where are you going?" I asked from the couch, my voice thin. "Just an errand," my father said, not meeting my eyes. For Lily. They were gone for hours. I stared at the ceiling, counting the cracks, trying to ignore the throbbing in my knees. When I heard the car pull in, it sounded different. Louder. New. Lily burst through the front door, her cheeks flushed with joy. "Ivy, come see. You have to see." She pulled me up, ignoring my wince, and guided me to the front window. Parked in the driveway was a brand new, shiny silver sedan. A giant red bow was stuck to the roof. My parents stood beside it, smiling like they'd won a prize. "What is this?" I whispered. "An early graduation present." Lily squealed, hugging our mother. "For getting into the honors program." "It's mine." I looked from the car to my parents. The connection clicked with a horrible, silent snap. The trust fund. My medicine. The doctor's urgent warning. "Mom?" My voice cracked. "Dad?" My medication. The prescription. My father's smile tightened. "Ivy, that's a conversation for later. Today is about celebrating your sister." "But the doctor said." "Doctors always push the expensive option," my mother cut in, her voice sharp. "We'll manage. We'll get the generic pills. You need to rest and be strong." This is a big moment for Lily. "Don't be selfish." The word selfish hung in the air, poisonous and wrong. I was fighting for my future. They were buying a car. Tears of pain and fury blurred my vision. I turned and hobbled back to the couch, the sounds of their celebration echoing from the driveway. The generic pills were cheap chalk. They did nothing. The fire in my joints spread. Getting out of bed became a war. Walking to the bathroom left me breathless with pain. The dance scholarship application on my desk gathered dust. One night, the pain in my knee was so intense I screamed. My parents rushed me to the emergency room. The doctor on duty was angry. Why wasn't she on the prescribed treatment? "This is advanced deterioration." The hospital stay lasted a week. The bills were astronomical. When the statements came, my father sat at the kitchen table, his head in his hands. "The trust fund is empty," he said, his voice hollow. "The hospital took the rest." My mother looked at me, not with sympathy, but with resentment. "This is what happens with a weak constitution," she sighed. At that moment, something broke inside me. Not my bones, but my heart. The cage wasn't just in my joints anymore. It was my home. I looked at Lily, who was now avoiding my eyes, guilty and complicit. I looked at my parents, who saw me as a burden, a failed investment next to a shiny new car. The money for my health was gone. turned into metal and chrome sitting in the driveway. My future was stolen before it began. I was 17, in permanent pain and completely alone. But in that broken place, a new seed was planted. It was small and hard and fierce. It was a promise. They bought her a car. I would build myself an empire. The day I turned 18, I left. I took my social security card, my birth certificate, and a single suitcase. I did not say goodbye. The look my mother gave me as I limped to the door was not sadness. It was a relief. The first years were a blur of pain and work. I rented a mattress in a kind older woman's basement. I waited tables, my hands screaming with every tray I carried. I stocked shelves at a grocery store overnight. Every pill I swallowed, every doctor's visit I paid for in cash was fuel. The anger kept me warm. The memory of that silver car in the driveway kept me moving. I enrolled in community college, then a state university. I studied kinesiology and pre-physical therapy. I learned how the body moves, how it heals, how it breaks. My own broken body was my first textbook. I learned to manage my pain, not with the cheap pills, but with knowledge, with precise exercise, with a fierce determination. I stopped being Ivy, the sick girl. I became Ivy, the student. Then Ivy, the graduate. Then Ivy, the licensed physical therapist. I specialized in autoimmune and arthritis care. I understood my patients in a way no textbook could teach. My private practice grew. I developed a method, a gentle but stubborn approach to reclaiming movement. I became known for it. I bought a small, bright apartment. I bought a reliable, used car with my own money. Every achievement was a silent answer to my family's choice. 15 years passed. I built a life. A good, quiet, strong life. I heard snippets about them through the distant grapevine of old acquaintances. Lily never finished college. She lived at home, drifting between jobs. My parents supported her. The narrative was always the same. Lily is finding herself. Lily needs our help. I never reached out. The bridge was ash. Then, on a Tuesday evening, my personal phone rang. A number I didn't know, with my old hometown area code. A cold instinct told me to ignore it. I answered. Ivy? The voice was my father's, but aged, thin, and cracked with a fear I'd never heard. It's Dad. A long silence hung between us. What do you want? I asked, my voice flat. It's Lily. He took a shaky breath. She's sick, Ivy. Really sick. It's a vascular condition. She needs a specialized surgery. The only surgeon who does it is out of state. Insurance won't cover it. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I said nothing. I felt nothing. We've run through everything. The retirement fund. The equity in the house. We can't help her. His voice broke into a sob. You have to help. You're her sister. You're successful. We're begging you. Please. I looked around my peaceful, sunlit living room, filled with books and art I loved. I thought of my 17-year-old self on that couch, begging for medicine that cost less than a car. Are you asking for money? I said, or a kidney? A donor isn't the issue. He rushed out, missing my cold tone. It's the surgery. The cost. You have to see her. Please. Just meet us. Hear us out. I was quiet for so long he thought I'd hung up. Fine, I said. One meeting. This Saturday. I'll text you the address. I chose the lounge at the Monarch Hotel. It was all glass and marble, expensive and impersonal. I arrived early. I wore a simple, elegant navy dress. My hair was styled. I looked like what I was, a woman in control. I watched them enter. My father, shrunken and defeated. My mother, her face etched with new, deep lines of worry. And Lily. At 31, she looked pale and drawn, the ghost of the vibrant girl she'd been. Her eyes darted around the room, lost. They didn't recognize me at first. When they did, their shock was palpable. They saw a stranger who wore health and success like armor. We sat. The pleasantries were agonizing. My mother cried. My father laid out the grim numbers, the medical details. Lily just stared at her hands. Finally, my father leaned forward. Ivy, we know we made mistakes. But she's your sister. We're family. You can do this. You can save her. I took a slow sip of my sparkling water. I placed the glass down with a soft, final click. From my leather portfolio, I removed a single sheet of crisp, white paper. I slid it across the polished table to rest between them. It's not an invoice, I said. It's a statement. A final accounting. They looked down. The document had only 3 lines. Line 1. Estimated cost of 1 year of prescribed biologic treatment, age 17, $18,000. Line 2. Down payment on 1 new sedan for Lily, age 16, $22,000. Line 3. Total lifelong cost of chronic disability, pain management, and lost potential, non-negotiable. My mother made a small, choked sound. My father's face turned gray. You bought her a car, I said, my voice calm and clear in the hushed lounge. You bankrupted my body. You are not my family. You are a lesson I survived. I stood up, picking up my portfolio. I looked at Lily, who finally met my eyes, hers filled with a dawning, horrible understanding. I am not your donor. I am not your bank, I said. Goodbye. I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. I didn't hear their cries or their pleas. I walked out of the hotel and into my own life, leaving them forever in the expensive silence of their own making. Walking out of that hotel was like stepping out of a haunted house. The ghosts of my past, my parents' shocked faces, Lily's silent plea, stayed behind the glass doors. The sunlight outside felt cleaner. I got into my car, a modest hybrid I'd bought myself, and drove to my office. I didn't feel triumph. I felt a deep, settling finality. The account was closed. My work was my sanctuary. The next morning, I saw my first patient, a teenage girl with early-onset arthritis. Her mother held her hand, worry etched on her face. As I guided the girl through gentle exercises, I saw myself. I saw the fear, the fragile hope. That afternoon, I called my lawyer and my financial advisor. I didn't give my family a cent. I did something better. I used my wealth to build a fortress that would protect people like that girl. Like the girl I had been. We established the Ivy Foundation for Motion and Care. Its mission was simple: to provide full, no-cost medical treatment, physical therapy, and medication to young people under 21 with autoimmune and arthritis diseases, whose families could not afford the staggering costs. We funded it with an initial endowment so large it would last forever. The legal paperwork named me as the founder and sole director. My family's names were nowhere on it. The foundation launched quietly but powerfully. We partnered with hospitals and clinics. Our first story was featured in a local news segment about healthcare gaps. I was asked for an interview. I agreed. The reporter sat across from me in my bright clinic. What inspired the Ivy Foundation? She asked. I looked straight into the camera, my hands calm in my lap. When I was 17, I became very sick. The treatment I needed to prevent lifelong disability was traded for something else. A material object. I built this foundation so that no 17-year-old's future is ever used as currency. Your health is not a down payment. It is your life. I didn't mention a car. I didn't say sister or parents. I didn't have to. The truth of it was in my words. The segment aired. I know they saw it. An old neighbor, still connected to my mother on social media, told me later. Your mother watched it, she said. She cried the whole time. Your father turned off the TV and wouldn't speak for days. That was their punishment. Not my anger, which they expected, but my absolute, magnificent indifference. My success was a public fact. My charity was a monument to the very thing they had stolen from me. They had to live in a world where my name was associated with healing and generosity, knowing they were the reason it existed, and knowing they were forever on the outside of it. Lily never got her surgery. The last I heard, through that same distant grapevine, was that my parents had taken a reverse mortgage on their house to pay for a less effective, basic treatment to manage her symptoms. The shiny silver sedan was long gone, sold years ago. Lily lived with them, her life defined by the limitations of her health and their depleted resources. My life was not defined by limits. It was defined by motion. My foundation helped its first dozen patients. Then 50. I worked, I traveled, I lived without pain. The revenge was not in their suffering. It was in my profound and utter peace. They had chosen a car. I had chosen to build a hospital of hope in its place. Every life the Foundation saved was a verdict on their choice. The greatest revenge is not hatred. It is a quiet, magnificent life built so well that the people who hurt you become footnotes in your story of resilience. They wanted you to be small, to be quiet, to be grateful for their scraps. Do not give them that power. Grow so tall in your own light that their shadows can no longer reach you. Use your pain not as a cage, but as the foundation for something unshakably good. Your survival is their sentence. Your joy is your appeal. If this story of turning deep hurt into quiet strength spoke to you, please let us know by liking this video. For more tales where the human spirit triumphs over betrayal, subscribe to this channel.